99% of the things I have written in the book. So try so that you understand each and everything here. Don't think कि घर जाके समझ लेते हैं, अभी लिख लेते हैं. घर जाके इकोनॉमी किसी को समझ में नहीं आया, ठीक है. So you have to understand here, you have to ask doubts here. If the doubts are related to the topics, you must ask in the class. If it is not that much related, you think that it can be asked after the class also, so then you can ask after the class. But if it is related, you must ask in the class, because if you will not ask, you may not be able to understand some concepts for the rest 1 or 2 hours. So try to ask in the concentrate. And since budget and economic survey will also come within 3-4 days, so we will be covering that also. I don't teach budget and economic survey separately. See what happens. What is there in the budget and economic survey? Budget means future के लिए भी present. Now in budget we say that कि in what sectors government will be spending in the next year. What are the various taxes? What are the various schemes? What are the various expenditure? This is all about budget. Now if you have already understood all the tax concept, if you have already understood all the schemes which are present, then in budget we just change the tax rates. In budget we just change the tax rate, like GST. If you have understood everything in GST, now in budget they just need to change the tax. If you have understood all MAT, dividend distribution tax, capital gain tax, then budget is just about changing the tax rates. Or if in the budget some new tax is announced, then we will be covering that. So whatever is not covered in the regular classroom, we will be covering in the budget class, only that portion. Like for example, economic survey. Now economic survey which will be presented maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, it covers what has happened in the last 1 year in the various sectors of the economy. For example, what has happened in the last 1 year in agriculture, industry, services, balance of payment. Now even if I am teaching economy today, I teach totally current updated. So whatever we are understanding, that is only going to be presented in the economic survey. If there is something new which comes in the economic survey, that will cover separately. So don't try to focus on just budget and economic survey. If something is not presented in economic survey, is it not relevant for your syllabus? Of course it is relevant. And economic survey is not written for UPSC students. Finance Ministry presents its view on economic development through economic survey. Whatever has happened in economy till now, everything you must understand whichever is relevant for your syllabus. There are a lot of things in the economic survey which is not relevant for your syllabus, that you should not understand. There are a lot of things which is not covered in economic survey but it is relevant, that you must also understand. So your syllabus is not nothing related to as such कि economic survey पढ़ना है नहीं पढ़ना. Whatever has happened till now, you must understand. ठीक है. So we'll be taking up every class, every topic, and we'll be discussing what has happened till now in those things. If something is missed and an economic survey, the economic survey covers that, we'll be discussing it separately also. But try to understand this entire concept, entire syllabus thoroughly. Don't care about the economic survey and budget. If something new comes which is relevant for your syllabus, definitely I will cover that also. ठीक है? So how many questions are coming in prelims from this economic section? Generally 20, on average 20 questions come. There are mainly two types of questions. One is conceptual and one is current based. In 2013 there were around 18 questions from economy. All were conceptual. So never ever try to predict that on 2nd June 2019 whether it will be concept based or current based. Never ever predict. So this is the level of variation. From conceptual, they have totally moved to current based. For example, so prelims we divide into conceptual and current. In mains portion, see your economy syllabus is whatever has happened in economy post independence. So post independence till now whatever has happened you should know. Post independence things you should need to know in a brief way, like what was the economic situation at independence, what policies we followed, what challenges we faced, what were the issues which led to 1991 crisis, what reforms we introduced after that. This you should know briefly, but whatever is happening today, that you should know in detail. For example, there is an act, Agricultural Produce and Livestock Marketing Act. That is the present act which central government has forwarded it to states. Now that act you should need to know in detail because there are a lot of issues going on with that. But there is an act which was passed in 1955, Essential Commodities Act or MRTP Act, that you should just know ki what was the purpose. And whatever are the acts which we are passing it in the last 2-3 years related to economy, that you should know in detail. So whatever has happened in the economy in past, we call it static portion and current. So in mains question also we divide all the questions into two parts, static and current. In 2013, static means whatever has happened in the last 60 years and current means last 2-3 years what is going on. In current, in 2013, so in mains how many questions are asked generally? Economy, from economy, paper 3 economy, 10 questions. Generally they ask 16 to 20 questions, half from economy, half from other topics, disaster management, disaster management science taken these things. So 10 questions in mains from economy in 2013. ठीक है. So here again 2017 or 16. So this is also, here also it varies. So you cannot just guess that in this year whether they are going to focus on static or current part in mains or conceptual or current in prelims. You need to have full understanding of this subject and then just go on reading the newspaper. ठीक है, तो never ever predict, have a balanced approach. First understand the concepts, current affairs you will automatically be able to understand if you are following the newspaper. ठीक है, तो जैसे हम पढ़ा रहे हैं just वैसे ही focus करो. For 15 days you will automatically understand each and everything. And see this UPSC, there are a lot of subjects, 6-7 subjects. You cannot follow the same strategy for economy whatever you are following for history or geography. जैसे for example, everyone says that you must read NCERT, but for economy I don't say this, because your economy covers hardly 10% of your NCERT economy book. It covers hardly 10% of your syllabus. So you cannot just read NCERT and crack this economy questions. The second thing is that this subject is quite dynamic, so it's changing a lot, and after Modi ji is coming और थोड़ा तेजी से change हो रहा है, ठीक है? So it's very difficult for any good writer or also author to update this book and content. That is why it's quite difficult to find a good book on economy. No one is going to change this book after every 6 or update this book after every 1 year. So that's why we find it difficult to get any standard book in economy. This is my notes I have compiled in the book form, so that you don't wander here and there for material. Because something is covered in NCERT, something is covered in another book, something is covered in budget and economic survey. You cannot read all these things. पूरा hodgepodge हो जाता है. And that was the reason I have written this book. So it's basically the compilation of all notes precisely written in one book form. If you are following this, you may ignore NCERT, because whatever is relevant in NCERT for your syllabus I have already included here. Copy paste नहीं है, in my own language. ठीक है? It's just for your benefit. I didn't have any interest in writing a book, but when I started teaching, I used to refer various books. I used to recommend various books for students, and students were also confused. That's why I have compiled all my notes in this book form, and it is totally updated. ठीक है? Otherwise मेरा लिखने का कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. मेरा लिखने का इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. That doesn't mean कि ये बुक में आपको कोई दिक्कत होगी. It has been written in a very simple language, and if you are, this book has been written only for my own students who are studying here in this classroom. क्योंकि एक बार आप इसको पढ़ोगे, then you will see कि it's very easy written, और जैसे जैसे क्लास मूव कर रहा वैसे exactly this topics have also been arranged. एक रिक्वेस्ट है आपसे ये कि जितना भी बुक देखना है आप लोग देख लो, ठीक है? जितना भी, बट प्लीज डोंट सी इन द क्लास. ठीक है? क्लास के बाद पहले जितना भी आपको पलटना है, देखना है, देख लो. क्लास में मेरे पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करो. ठीक है? बुक आप बाद में पढ़ लेना. ठीक? ऐसा नहीं कि आप पढ़ लोगे तो कुछ हो जाएगा, लेकिन ट्राई की कॉन्सेंट्रेट करो क्लास में, फिर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन लूज होता है. एंड दिस विल नॉट बी अ मोनोलॉग कि मैं लेक्चर दे रहा हूँ और आप पीछे बैठ के सुने जा रहे हो कहानी. ठीक है? आई कीप ऑन आस्किंग द क्वेश्चंस आल्सो इन द क्लास. ठीक है? तो व्हाई आई आस्क द क्वेश्चंस, बिकॉज I should know that whether you are understanding or not, and till what extent you are understanding. Because the problem with me is I cannot move forward if I know that you are not understanding. And to know that whether you are understanding or not, the only best way is ask questions. तो आपको hesitate करने की जरूरत नहीं है और डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. Whatever you have understood till now, applying your logical and common sense, you have to answer the question. Don't try to jump on the right answer. ये मत सोचो कि यार आंसर गलत होगा या सही होगा. If you will think about that, you won't be able to understand economy. Try to apply the logic. जो भी आपने पढ़ा है अभी तक, try to apply that logic, and whatever comes, you just tell me that. If it is wrong, we will discuss how it is wrong or why it is correct. But don't try to jump on the right answer. Try to understand this subject. क्योंकि अगर आप jump करोगे and if you will not focus, फिर बहुत difficult होगा subject समझना. And hardly 15-20 days. In 15-20 days, all this conceptual part will be covered. So have patience for 15 days. Try to concentrate. Ask as many questions as possible in the class, and try to build on concepts and try to use those concepts in answering the questions. ठीक है? सही या गलत है, don't worry about that. ठीक? So I will keep on asking the questions, और आप लोग तैयार हैं आंसर करने के लिए. regarding books, everyone finds asked that कि सर समझ में नहीं आता क्या पढ़ना चाहिए या क्या नहीं पढ़ना चाहिए, and this is the problem with UPSC questions, because last 3-4 years में they have started asking such type of questions that students are also confused कि क्या पढ़ें या क्या नहीं पढ़ें, and sometimes teachers are also confused. इसलिए I am saying there is infinite knowledge in this world, and now UPSC have started asking any question from anywhere. There is no limited syllabuses. Like till 2014-15 we used to say कि आप इतना पढ़ लो and you will be able to answer this question. But now they have started asking current affairs related things from anywhere. So that's why it has become difficult to predict कि आप इतना ही पढ़ो ऐसे. But still I am saying whatever is written in this syllabus, if you will focus on that, 90-95% of the things are totally covered. And there will always be 1 or 2 questions which is very difficult to do for the students. So don't chase those 1 or 2 questions. Try to focus on the syllabus, and 1 or 2 questions, be ready to leave those questions. Regarding books, अभी तक किसी ने कोई इकोनॉमी पढ़ी है? नहीं, मैं पूछूंगा नहीं अभी, ठीक है. देखो, if you want to understand this subject, the best way is you forget everything whatever you have read till now. तो जो लोग भूल चुके हैं या जिन्होंने पढ़ा ही नहीं है, they are in the best position right now. ठीक है. और जो लोग थोड़ा बहुत पढ़े हैं, try to forget it. So books, और कल से, आज तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा रश हो गया था, कल से आप भी टाइम से आ जाना, मैं तो आता ही हूँ टाइम से, ठीक है. अब इधर देखो ध्यान से. Indian economic development, it's basically a history kind of book. Whatever I said, that whatever has happened in the economy from post 1947 till now, they have covered this. It's a general book, anyone can read, no concept is required for that. तो ये आप पढ़ भी सकते हो, छोड़ भी सकते हो, एक बार पढ़ लोगे तो बेटर रहेगा. But the data is not updated. The data is not updated, but once you can go through this book. 1 or 2 questions comes from here. Introductory Macroeconomy. This book has 6 chapters. This book has 6 chapters. 3 are relevant for UPSC and 3 are not relevant. Those 3 which are relevant, even out of that, some topics are not relevant. In this book I have, and these 2 books combined covers hardly 10-15% of your syllabus, economy syllabus. So if you are reading this, fine. You can ignore this also, doesn't matter. I have included each and everything in this book. So this book covers 100% of the syllabus, plus newspaper, of course, you'll have to study. So those who are reading this book, they can read this book for once. Those who still wants to read this book, 6 chapters and 3 chapters are not relevant, 3 chapters are relevant. Out of those 3 chapters which are relevant, even some topics are again irrelevant. Those who still want to read this book, they can bring this book, and I will tell you that which topics you don't need to read. If you are attending this class, मैं कहूँगा नहीं ये आपको पढ़नी ही पड़ेगी. I will never say, but बिना इसके आपका काम ही नहीं चलेगा, because I don't dictate anything. So each and everything I have written in my notes form. Regarding newspaper, any one newspaper, either The Hindu और Express, जिसके पास ज़्यादा टाइम है, both. Now, in these two newspapers, there are two pages where economy news comes. One is editorial and the other is business page. Editorial page, once or twice a week the economy news comes, and business page daily comes. Now on business page, there are basically two kinds of news. One is corporate companies related news that you have to totally ignore. And then there is news regarding government policies, RBI functions, RBI issues, NPAs. These things you have to follow. In editorial page, most of the times it is relevant, but sometimes the article may be very complicated, not relevant to syllabus, so आप छोड़ सकते हैं. But still some students find it difficult कि सर ये पढ़े ना पढ़ें. So what we can do is, for next 10-15 days or till the time this course is going on, any one of you can bring the newspaper and just for 2 minutes we will be discussing that क्या पढ़ना है और क्या नहीं पढ़ना. So that you will also get a feel after 10-15 days. You will automatically get to know that कि ये चीज़ पढ़ना चाहिए and this you should not read. Anyone who has brought newspaper today? Yeah, आपके लिए. So is there any news on editorial page? Yes. C. Rangarajan, this article, और ये you will be able to understand the newspaper after 1 or 2 weeks. Because once you understand certain concepts, then only you will be able to understand. तो 1-2 वीक बाद आपको न्यूज़पेपर समझ में आने लगेगा, right? This article is relevant. Removing the roots of farmers' distress. तो ये आप इन जनरल आर्टिकल पढ़ सकते हो. इसमें भी कई सारी चीज़ें नहीं समझ में आएगी. We will be discussing in agriculture. Then business page, this is not relevant, this is related to G group. This is also not relevant, Tata groups. Then this you should read, Kelkar Moods meet setting up Niti Aayog 2.0. So Niti Aayog, RBI, government policy कुछ भी आपको पढ़ना चाहिए. Finance Minister Goyal to meet heads, ये just नहीं relevant नहीं है. High use of input tax credit under taxman's scanner. है relevant या नहीं है? High use of input credit under taxman's scanner. देखो, this is related to GST. This is related to your GST. Now, what is input credit? Everyone should understand, which we will be discussing in the GST class. So right now you won't be able to understand this, but later on, once you study GST, you will be able to understand this news. But as such, this news is related to operational issues. What is GST credit, input credit, that you must understand. But this news is not relevant to you. समझ गए? तो GST में जो input credit का concept है, that you should understand. But how they are violating this and how they are trying to not pay this input credit, ये आपके लिए relevant नहीं. So just by reading this headline, you will be able to know कि ये क्या कर रहे हैं. डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं. ठीक है? This is by some person, you may ignore this or you just have a look on this article. This उतना relevant नहीं है this. ये समझ रहे हो आपकी नहीं? Tax related, if there is a concept, you should know operational issues, what government is facing, that is not relevant as. Then second page is also business. This you should also study. Budget when may grant farm and tax stocks. ये भी agriculture से related topic है, बाद में पढ़ोगे कि what they are talking about. That's all. ये exercise हम लोग we will be doing till this course is over. So you will be able to get to know कि क्या पढ़ना चाहिए, नहीं पढ़ना चाहिए. And everyone must read the newspaper before coming to the class. पढ़ क्या पाओगे, ठीक? और कुछ दिन में समझ में भी आने लगेगा. और ये बुक अभी नहीं चले जाना आप खरीदने, आई विल टेल यू कि कब नया एडिशन आने वाला है, ठीक है, बिकॉज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ अपडेट्स देयर। जो लोग बहुत एक्साइटेड रहते हैं बुक खरीदने में, वो पढ़ते कम है, मुझे ऐसा मतलब मेरा ऐसी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है। जो लोग सबसे ज़्यादा कोचिंग में मटेरियल की बात करते हैं फिर उनका ऐसे ही पढ़ा रह जाता है। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द क्लास। बिफोर दैट एनीवन हैज एनी डाउट रिगार्डिंग दिस कोर्स और एनीथिंग? किसी को कोई डाउट नहीं है? गुड। सो व्हाट वी स्टडी इन इकोनॉमी, इकोनॉमिक्स सब्जेक्ट इज ऑल अबाउट व्हाट? जैसे हिस्ट्री में वी स्टडी अबाउट द पास्ट इवेंट्स, व्हाट वी स्टडी इन इकोनॉमी? हाउ टू फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम रेगुलेट्स। और कोई? हाउ टू यूटिलाइज, how to efficiently utilize limited resources, how to efficiently utilize limited resources. This is all about economy. Do you think that we are utilizing our resources? Resources means it can be human resources, it can be capital resources, it can be labor, land. So economics is all about efficient utilization of scarce or limited resources. Do you think that we are utilizing our resources efficiently? Country के perspective? Not exactly. Which resource we are not utilizing efficiently? Human resource. How can you say that we are not utilizing human resource efficiently? A lot of people have not got jobs. So those human resources are not being employed. So economy and like this classroom is it being efficiently utilized? This classroom is also a resource for the economy. Is it being efficiently utilized? Some chairs are vacant, so still it is not fully utilized. ठीक? So economics is all about efficient utilization of resources. We divide the economy into two branches, micro and macro. आपको केवल macro पढ़ना है. But you should know कि what we study in micro and what we study in macro. In micro, so what is the difference between these two? Suppose I have 100 rupees. I have 100 rupees. Now how I am going to spend this 100 rupees for my satisfaction, whether I am going to purchase a burger, whether I am going to purchase a book, this we study in microeconomy. This we study in microeconomy. If a company has certain raw materials, certain inputs, how it is going to use those inputs to maximize the profit, this we study in microeconomy. So micro is all about studying individual agents. Individual agents means individual human beings, individual businesses. The business may be quite big, but that is one business. So if Reliance has certain financial resources, how it should use those financial resources to maximize that profit, if we are studying that, this is micro, about individual things, individual businesses, individual human beings. If we have 1,000 rupees, how we are going to utilize that, that we study in micro. But if the question is, how much investment in the economy should be increased so that our GDP growth touches 8%, this is macro. How much our exports should increase so that our GDP increases 10%. This is macro. What should be the employment rate? What should be the unemployment rate so that our economic growth jumps to a certain level? What should be our forex reserves so that we can move to rupee convertibility? What should be the repo rate in the economy to keep the inflation at a certain rate? This is all about. So whatever variables, whatever things we study at the country level, that is a part of macroeconomy. And your syllabus is totally macro. If one or two terms is required from the micro, that we'll discuss separately, but आपको पढ़ना नहीं है micro, you have to focus on macro. Now, any country in this world faces three questions. Any country in this world, they faces three kinds of questions. For example, the first question which every country faces is, what goods and services should be produced in the economy? What goods and services should be produced in the economy? Should we produce more wheat? Should we produce more rice? Should we produce more cars? So every economy faces the question, first question, what should be produced? The second question that we face is how it should be produced. How it should be produced means, should we produce power by solar or should we produce power by coal? Should we produce certain things through machines or should we produce through labor? So how it should be produced, this is the second question which every economy faces, every country. And the third question is, for whom? What should be produced, what goods and services to be produced, how it should be produced, and for whom it should be produced. These three questions every economy faces, every country faces, right? If the answer to these three questions is government, that means if government decides what should be produced, how it should be produced, and for whom it should be produced, that economy is socialist. If government is deciding that how much cars should be produced, for whom it should be produced, then that economy is socialist. For whom it should be produced means, whom का मतलब ये है, should we produce more Maruti 800 or should we produce more BMW? This is the question of whom. When we are producing Maruti 800, the target customer is the poor people, lower middle class. So whether we have to produce BMW or Maruti 800, that means for whom we should produce, which class we should produce. So if these three questions are decided by the government, then we call a socialist economy. And if these three questions are decided by the market forces of demand and supply, then that economy is capitalist. But no country, there is no country where all these three questions are decided either by government or market. Some things are decided by government and some by market. So no country is either 100% socialist or 100% capitalist. They all fall in between. For example, India in post 1947, it was quite here, and now it has started moving into this direction. Almost every country is moving into this direction. Is it true or not? Almost every country is moving into this direction. Why? पहले ये बताओ कि आप ये एक्सेप्ट करते हैं ना कि ऑलमोस्ट एवरी कंट्री इज मूविंग इनटू दिस डायरेक्शन. व्हाई? कैपिटलिस्ट are most. Because post 1947 we implemented this model and then we realized that we are not able to employ our resources efficiently under this model. So we have started moving in this way. Because in this model, we have realized that we are able to utilize our resources more in a better way, more efficiently. And when we are able to utilize our resources in a better way, we are able to improve the condition of the people, the standard of living of the people in a much better way if we utilize our resources properly. And we have felt by our experience that in this system, that means when the market forces decide these things, people living standard increases in a much faster way. That's why we dismantled this system. You all have dismantled this system. You all, through your right to vote, you have dismantled this system because you all realized that this system was not working properly for you. Through this system, you are not able to increase the living standard of your life. So that's why you have started moving in this way. And that everyone has realized. post 1991 we are moving into this direction. Post 1991 we have started moving into this direction, and I said that we are not either 100% socialist or 100% capitalist. Still, how much coal is produced in Indian economy, that is decided by government. How much coal is produced, that is decided by government, and how much steel is produced, that is decided by private companies. आगे समझ जाओगे, ठीक है, ये चीज आगे आप समझ जाओगे. So still certain things are being decided by the government, and a lot of things are being, majority of the things are now being decided by the market forces of demand and supply. So we are moving here. इस पे detailed discussion है in later topics. Here I just referred this so that you have a idea in your mind that most of the countries are moving into this direction. Why we are moving into this direction, what issues were there here, 2-3 क्लास डिवोटेड है इस पे from 1947 till 1990. ठीक है. Now to understand economy in a better way, we divide the whole economy into 4 sectors. लंच करने के बाद आप लोग आए हो, नींद तो नहीं आ रही ना? हाँ, नहीं, कुछ लोगों को लंच के बाद सोने की आदत होती है, मुझे भी है वो, बट अब तो मैं पढ़ा ही रहा हूँ तो मुझे क्या नींद आएगी, ठीक है. So to understand economy in a better way, we divide the economy into 4 sectors. अच्छा, जो भी मैं बोर्ड पे लिख रहा हूँ वो आपको लिखना है, ठीक है, और जो भी एग्जाम्पल्स हम लोग बना रहे हैं ना वो आपको लिख लेना है, क्योंकि और तो मैं कुछ डिक्टेट करता नहीं है, बट जो भी बोर्ड पे हम लिख रहे हैं ट्राई कि वो आप लिख लो आप भी. So to understand economy ना, ये बैग आपका है, इधर कर लो so that कि मैं उधर तक भी जा सकूँ, ठीक है. So to understand economy in a better way, we are going to divide the whole economy into 4 sectors. The first is called government sector. So what all things comes under government sector? All government ministries, departments, all infrastructure, railway, road, government roads, all ministries, department, police, security, BSF, all that comes under government sector, plus and PSUs. So all ministries, departments, police, security, plus government production units, government PSUs, all belong to government sector. The second is private sector. What all things belong to private sector? Any business owned by private individuals. Any business owned by private individuals. For example, SR Private Limited. Any business owned by private individuals belong to private sector. ठीक है. All the business units, एक ठेला वाला भी जो है, that business is here. So every business entity owned by private individuals belong to the private sector, and businesses or production units owned by government belong to government sector. Third is household sector. अच्छा, why we are dividing the economy into 4 sectors? So that we have a better understanding of the economy. Household sector. What all things belong to household sector? Consumer, small cottage industry. All the human beings of India, 128 crore Indians belong to household sector. Household sector is all about human beings, not the business units. So all the human beings belong to household sector. Even a small MSME industry, that if it is owned by private individuals, it belongs to. All the human beings belong to household sector. Human beings, and human beings are human resources also. So all the human beings belong to household sector. How do we define a household? How do we define a household? लिख लो आप. An individual, household का definition, an individual or group of individuals, an individual or group of individuals whose consumption decision an individual or group of individuals whose consumption decision is taken jointly. Full stop. Generally, a household has a common kitchen. Generally, a household has a common kitchen. So for example, if I am living alone in Old Rajendra Nagar and preparing for UPSC, Vivek will be called one household. Vivek will be called one household. If I am living with my wife and 2 children, all 4 will belong to one household, because what is the consumption we jointly decide? Because household is all about consumption. An individual or group of individuals whose consumption is decided jointly. So if I am living with my wife and 2 children, all 4 will belong to one household. If I am living alone, then I will be called as one household. But all the human beings belong to household sector. So what is one household, that you understood, and who belongs to household sector, that you also understood. Family, common. Just for example, if 100 boys living in a hostel, all 100 boys will belong to one household. Common kitchen basically. ठीक. NTPC belongs to which sector? Government sector. Vivek works in NTPC. Vivek, मेरा नाम है. Vivek works in NTPC. Vivek belongs to which sector? How because NTPC belongs to government sector, I do a job in NTPC. How many of you think that Vivek belongs to household sector? And how many of you think he government sector? When I have already said that all human beings belong to household sector, तो फिर government कैसे? देखो भाई, Vivek belongs to household sector, NTPC belongs to government sector. Both have a relationship. Both have a relationship. Vivek works for the company, company pays wages. But these two belong to different sector. These two belong to different sector. Mukesh Ambani is owning Reliance Industries Limited. RIL belongs to which sector? Private. Mukesh Ambani, household. Never ever insert the owner inside the company. Owner is totally different. They are joined by a relationship. I started a company in 2014. That company belongs to private sector. I belong to household sector. We have a relationship. What is the relationship? I initially put some money and I expect profit. But दोनों separate हैं, separate sectors को belong. ठीक है, ये आप याद रखना. क्योंकि इसलिए बोल रहे हैं याद रखना. Because there will be certain things जिसपे मैं ज़्यादा force करता हूँ. ठीक है. तो that means समझ लो कि उसकी ज़्यादा importance है और याद रखो आप उस चीज़ को. Because in a lot of batches ये गलती आप last class तक करते हो. ठीक है. So Vivek is different and NTPC is different. Fourth is external sector. External sector. मेरे लिए इंडिया हमेशा गोल है. ठीक है. आप अपना ज्योग्राफी में मैप ड्रॉ करते रहना. So this is India. So we have government sector, private sector, household sector. there are governments, people, companies outside India also. There are governments, people, companies outside India also. Do they impact India? Yes. They purchase goods from India. They sell goods to India. They take money from India. They give money to India. So all those things which are external to India, they also impact Indian economy. So we also study external sector as part of our economy. We also study external sector as part of our economy. So external sector means whatever foreign governments, foreign companies, foreign people, everything outside India is external sector. And we study it as a part of Indian economy because whatever things are external to India, they also impact Indian economy. ठीक है? So external sector में all government, people, companies outside India, they will be called external sector of India. ठीक है? So we have divided the whole economy into 4 sectors so that we have a better understanding of the economy. Now let's start. फिर से एक बार रिपीट करो आप. देखो भाई, मुकेश अंबानी के पास 300 कंपनीज, ठीक है, 300 कंपनीज, एंड एवरी कंपनी इज इंडिपेंडेंट. ठीक, तो गूगल इनकॉर्पोरेशन रजिस्टर्ड इन यूएस, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट कंपनी. It is external sector of Indian economy. And Google India Private Limited is registered in India, and both companies are independent. So Google India Private Limited is Indian sector, private sector. ठीक है? So now we are going to take up each sector one by one and we will be discussing in detail. और फर्स्ट क्लास से ही आई एम अगेन रिक्वेस्टिंग कि फर्स्ट क्लास से ही एकदम कॉन्सेंट्रेट करके सुनते जाओ, क्योंकि 2-3 क्लास अगर बीत गए ऐसे और आप नहीं समझे ना, देन यू वोंट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. सो एवरीथिंग यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड प्रॉपरली. सो लेट्स टेक अप द प्राइवेट सेक्टर फर्स्ट. सो प्राइवेट सेक्टर कंसिस्ट ऑफ व्हाट ऑल थिंग्स? See, household sector, who belongs to household sector? All human beings. But if I ask you what is one household? One household means all those people whose consumption is being decided jointly. They all will be called one household. So if we all are living together, there is one kitchen and a cook is preparing food for all of us, then we all are one household. We all belong, every individual belongs to household sector separately, but we all will be called one household. See? And whatever all households in the country is consuming, for example, India में कितने households? 24-25 crore official data. Generally family होता है. Generally family it will be. If you have left your family and you are preparing for UPSC in old Rajendra Nagar, they belong to different household, you belong to different household. But सर्वे में बहुत बार काउंट नहीं कर पाते. ठीक है? तो household means all those people who are doing consumption jointly decide हो रहा है. That will be called one household. I said कि if 100 boys living in a hostel, all 100 boys will belong to one household. And what will be the consumption of the country, वो भी आप समझोगे कैसे सब डिसाइड होता है. See, whatever you have studied till now, उसमें डाउट नहीं होना चाहिए. There are a lot of things which will come to your mind. Will be understanding all these things one by one. So private sector. So private sector, it constitutes of what all things? All the private businesses. belongs to private, all the businesses owned by private individuals belong to private sector. Means companies, business, companies, enterprise firms. What is the basic function of a company? What is the basic function of a company? That is the objective. वो objective होता है company. What is the basic function of a company?
Providing services.
To produce output. Earn profit is objective. The basic function of any company is to produce output. So firms, enterprises or companies all are alternatively used. Firms. So the main objective is to produce output. Output means goods or services. I am writing here goods, but it includes services also. It includes services also. I just written goods. So this company is producing output, goods and services. एकदम concentrate करके देखते जाओ. To produce this output, this company will require inputs. This company will require inputs. Now this company may require one input, it may require 10 inputs, it may require hundreds of inputs. Whatever inputs this company requires, we are going to divide all the inputs into 4 categories. Broadly into, it may require hundreds of inputs. We are going to categorize all the inputs into 4 categories. The most important input for a company is SR Private Limited, the most important input is entrepreneurs. This only those people will be able to understand who have kept the owners outside the company. One day I went to registrar of companies and I registered my company ABC Private Limited. See? ABC Private Limited, I registered this company. Now ABC Private Limited belong to which sector? Private sector. I have registered that company. So Vivek belongs to which sector? Household sector. What is the relationship? Vivek has given some money and is expecting some profit. So the company is getting an input na? From whom? Vivek. Vivek was the first person who provided that input. If Vivek would not have been there, the company would not have been formed. So company is getting something from Vivek and then company in future returns profit. So the most important input for any firm is the entrepreneur. Entrepreneur always keep the owner outside the company. Owner provides input to the company and he expects profit. So if you keep this entrepreneur outside the company, then only he can provide some input. So he gives some input and for that the company pays Vivek. Company pays to the entrepreneur. And whatever it pays, it is called profit. Right? If entrepreneur is giving something to the company, company also will have to pay something. Free ka to kuch deta nahi. Always keep the owner outside the company. The next input is labor. The next input is labor. So labor gives his physical or mental labor. Labor gives his physical or mental labor. So what company gives to the labor? Wages. देखो कुछ भी free का नहीं है. ये कुछ कर रहे हैं तो the company must pay. Then natural resources. And then capital. Good question. समझ जाओगे अभी. और किसी को कोई डाउट? पहले तो अभी आप कैपिटल नहीं समझे हो. एंटरप्रेन्योर व्हाट? एंटरप्रेन्योर एंटरप्रेनर क्या बोल रहे हो आप? Entrepreneur is the owner of the company who starts the business. Yes, entrepreneur is the owner of the business. Yes. What input entrepreneur gives? We will come to that point. So we divided all the inputs into 4 categories. समझ जाओगे अभी? If this is SR Private Limited, what is the output? Educational services, goods कहाँ है? Educational services, SR Private Limited. This is educational services. Entrepreneur, Subramanian. Laborer, अभी 1 महीने पहले तक, ठीक है, बिकॉज ऑफ एथिक्स एंड इंटीग्रिटी, 1 महीने पहले तक आई यूज टू राइट माई ओन कंपनीज नेम एंड आई यूज टू बी हियर, बट बिजनेसेस एंड थिंग्स कॉम्पिटिशन चेंजेस अ लॉट, सो समटाइम्स दे मे गेट कन्वर्टेड हियर, ठीक है, but here still I am not a laborer, till now I am consultant, ठीक है, but I will come here, ठीक. So laborer, as Subramanian is laborer also. When she is standing here and teaching, she is a laborer. When she has started the company, she is entrepreneur. So she is acting as both. ठीक है. Every owner in the company, he gets salary also, he gets profit also. Profit क्यों? Because he created that company, started the company. For example, if Subramanian started this institute and she is taking rest, she is not taking any of the classes, she will still get the profit. She will not get the wages. But every owner also works for the company also. Owner means who started the company. Owner means who started the company. So what input owner is giving? What input owner is giving? अभी समझोगे, आप अभी नहीं समझे हो. We'll come to that point. ठीक है. पॉलिटिक्स की तरह यहाँ लीडर की जरूरत नहीं है. इधर देखो आप, if there are 5, like in SR Private Limited, Subramanian and her husband both are entrepreneurs, so the owners can be many, doesn't matter. There can be one owner to the company, there can be several owners to the company, doesn't matter. देखो भाई, if you want to do a business, you can register your business as a proprietorship firm, you can register your business as a partnership firm, you can register your business as a private limited company, you can register as a trust, you can register as a cooperative. वो तो it is the way how you want to do it. Cooperative is also a private business or not? Of course it is. It is started by, if it is started by private individuals, it is also private business. Amul example. So there are group of owners, cooperate करके they start this. So cooperatives और companies हम लोग बाद में discuss कर लेंगे. The difference is how you do it, but it is also started by private individuals, cooperatives, under different act. So if this is SR Private Limited, owner आपको entrepreneur पता चल गया, laborer पता चल गया, output पता चल गया. For SR Private Limited, what is the capital? Be specific. What is the capital? समझ रहे हो आप ना? This is SR Private Limited is producing educational services. You know these two inputs. What is capital for SR Private Limited? और कोई? Classroom, right? Chairs, board, है कि नहीं कैपिटल? कहाँ कंप्यूटर दिख रहा है यार? ये प्रोजेक्टर बोलो, कंप्यूटर कहाँ है? जो दिख रहा है उसको देखो ना, वहां कहाँ कंप्यूटर रखा हुआ, देख के आयो कहाँ पे? इतना बड़ा क्लासरूम, फैन, ये नहीं बता रहे हो कंप्यूटर, हमें तो दिख ही नहीं रहा कंप्यूटर का। सो प्रोजेक्टर, बोर्ड, चेयर, दिस इज ऑल कैपिटल। दिस लाइट, जो लाइट आ रही है, ठीक है, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द रॉड, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द लाइट, ठीक है। इज इट कैपिटल? इज इट कैपिटल? हाँ भाई, इज इट कैपिटल? क्या पूछे हम? लाइट, इज इट कैपिटल और नॉट? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू थिंक दैट द लाइट, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द रॉड, this light which is coming here, is it an input for the company? Yes, the company is using this input to produce educational services, ठीक है। So this light is capital or not? How many of you think this light is capital? भाई आइस देखो, देखो स्टेप बाय स्टेप आराम से समझो। SR Private Limited is producing educational services and it is using a lot of inputs. We have divided into 4 categories. This light is input or not? Yes. Is it capital or it belongs to any other category? Natural. It is not capital. How many think that it is not capital? Why it is not capital? नहीं वो तो ठीक है, वो आप अलग है, मैं जो पूछ रहा हूँ लाइट, व्हाई लाइट इज नॉट कैपिटल? ये डायग्राम बना रहे हो आप लोग ना, दिस डायग्राम विल एक्सटेंड दिस डायरेक्शन। इस डायग्राम के नीचे यू राइट 3 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ कैपिटल गुड्स, 3 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ कैपिटल गुड्स। First, it is an output of a man-made process. It is an output of a man-made process. Second, it again acts as input. It again acts as input in further production process. It is an output of a man-made process. It again acts as an input in further production process. Third, while acting as an input, it doesn't get lost. It doesn't get lost or transformed or consumed. While acting as an input, it doesn't get lost or transformed or consumed. देख लो तीनों कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स फिर से आप, रीड इट, पढ़ लिए। Now check whether this light, for this light, these 3 characteristics are true or not. How many of you think that all the 3 characteristics are true? कोई ऐसा नहीं सोचता है, इतने लोग। So all characteristics are true. Third characteristic is true. If third characteristic is true, अच्छा ये बताओ आप इंजीनियर हो? नहीं, फिर तो गलती माफ हो सकती है। There is a power plant running and light are running. If the power plant will stop, will this light come? No. Every moment new light is coming in. The previous light we have consumed, it is gone. ठीक है, अदरवाइज तो लाइट का बिल ही नहीं पे करना पड़ता, ठीक है ना, अदरवाइज यू परचेज लाइट वंस एंड जिंदगी भर वो यूज करो. So every moment new light is coming. The previous light you have consumed, it is gone, it has transformed. So third characteristic is not true. So light is not a capital. Now check for this building. This building, it is an output of a man-made process, a construction company. It is again acting as an input. It is acting as, इधर देखो आप, it is acting as input to produce educational services. And while this building is acting as an input, is it getting lost or transformed? No, it is remaining as it is. So this building is capital good. This board is capital good. This chair is capital good. Example of what? Instead of हाँ.
Can we have some other example, because it's getting very abstract when we talk about light, that it is not.
How many of you think that it is getting abstract? See, okay. So what you don't understand? I said कि this light means brightness जो उजाला आ रहा है, ठीक है? This light, I said it is not a capital good, right? And why it is not a capital good? Because first is true, second is true, it is acting as an input, and third, it is not true. Why it is not true? Because every moment new light is coming, the previous light is gone. So it is not a capital good. What didn't you understand? क्या नहीं समझ में आ रहा बताओ? It is good. अच्छा, when I said it is gone. See, this flow is so continuous that you are not able to feel this. You are not able to. आप इंजीनियर हो या नहीं? है ना? Then how can't you feel this? You see, the rod is capital. Rod is capital, but the light, it is not capital. समझ रहे हो ना? अगर ये capital होता, if it is not getting lost, तो बिल नहीं पे करना पड़ता ना? Every month. हाँ, electricity, light, that flow current. That's why I specifically said not the rod. Not the rod. देखो देखो सुन लो आप सुन ले इसे. अगर ये लोग इसमें बार बार इंक फिल कर रहे हैं तो एक कैपिटल की तरह हम लोग यूज कर सकते हैं. अदरवाइज ये लिख के फेंक दे रहे हैं तो नहीं यूज कर सकते. अब हर एक चीज के पीछे नहीं पड़ जाओ आप लोग, ठीक है? दिस मार्कर, if I am using it and throwing, it's not a capital. But if it is being used and we are refilling this ink, then this marker as such will be a capital. I don't understand investment. I don't understand investment. और अभी आप भी नहीं समझते हो. We will come to the investment. You use another word and then I will answer. Investment अभी कोई समझा ही नहीं, इसलिए I don't want to use that word. आप और कुछ word use करो, पूछो. हाँ, recurring. See, capital is not getting lost, so one time you need to purchase. One time you need to purchase capital, but other things you need to purchase regularly. Simple है 3 characteristics तो, है कि नहीं? That, see, you have written lost or consumed or transformed. There is a word called depreciation that's entirely different. There is a major difference between depreciation and transformation or consumption. ठीक है, बर्गर का कंजम्पशन होता है और कार का डेप्रिसिएशन होता है, तो डिफरेंस है ना? हाँ, so consume. You cannot say that building is slowly getting consumed or car is getting. उसके लिए there is a technical word depreciation, and you'll have to understand the difference between consumption and depreciation. ठीक है? हाँ अभी आ रहे हैं. हाँ, so land, where it will fall? Land is capital or not? Land के लिए, how many of you think land is capital? Characteristic देखो आप first characteristic is not true. It was naturally available. Pala characteristic you have written, it is an output of a man-made process. Land was naturally available, so हम लोग नॉर्मल टर्मिनोलॉजी में यूज कर लेते हैं लैंड को, बट लैंड स्पेसिफिकली इन इकोनॉमिक टर्म्स, एंड नाउ यू आर स्टडीइंग इकोनॉमी, सो यू शुड बी यूजिंग दीज टर्म्स. लैंड इज नॉट अ कैपिटल. लैंड इज नॉट एट ऑल कैपिटल. नहीं तो एसेट्स अलग होता है, कैपिटल अलग होता है. अंतर है, विल डिस्कस दैट ऑल्सो. लैंड कैपिटल है ही नहीं. अभी आ रहे हैं. ठीक है. सो लैंड, सी हियर, लैंड इज नॉट एट ऑल कैपिटल. This building is capital. Land, it is being built on land. It is being built on land, but land is not at all capital. Land capital नहीं है. Informally हम लोग यूज करने में कह देते हैं, but in economic terms land is not a capital. Why? क्योंकि characteristic आप लिखो. मतलब मैं हूं, मेरे नीचे बिल्डिंग है, तो जो मैं हूं वही बिल्डिंग है. नीचे ऊपर से हाउ डज इट मैटर यार? यू हैव प्रोड्यूस सर्टेन थिंग, दैट इज कैपिटल. दिस वाज नेचुरली अवेलेबल. सो व्हाट? मैं कहां कर रहा हूं कि रेंट नहीं देना पड़ेगा. सी हियर, इधर देखो आप. So this company gets input from 4. It pays profit to entrepreneur, it pays wages to laborer. From wherever it gets the natural resources, it pays rent. From wherever it gets the capital, it pays interest. इधर देखो बोर्ड पे आप. सपोज आई एम ओनिंग दिस कंपनी. इधर देखो, आई एम ओनिंग दिस कंपनी. वन डे माई सेल्फ, सम लेबरर्स, दिस बिल्डिंग. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज दिस कंपनी इज ओन्ड बाई मी. वन डे आई स्टार्टेड दिस कंपनी. सम पीपल वर हायर्ड. So someone provided labor, I provided the entrepreneurship, someone gave this classroom, and someone gave this land. And we all came together. And started producing services, educational services. So one day, 4 people, I said I will act as entrepreneur, someone said that I will teach, someone gave his classroom and someone gave his land plus classroom. एक ही आदमी हो सकता है. And we all combined together started producing educational services. In whose name? SR Private Limited. In whose name? SR Private Limited, ABC Private Limited. So suppose one day I said ki I will act as entrepreneur, he gave the land, he gave the classroom, and he started teaching. We all 4 started producing educational services. In whose name? ABC Private Limited. ABC Private Limited. ठीक है. So ABC is selling the educational services. It will get fees. That fees who will get? All the 4. ABC Private Limited is nothing, just a name written on a piece of paper. We all 4 together collaborated. Someone gave capital, someone gave entrepreneurship, someone gave labor, and someone gave land. We all started producing educational services. In whose name? ABC Private Limited, XYZ Private Limited. So if the services are sold in rupees 1 lakh, who will get 1 lakh? We all 4 will get 1 lakh. This business is just being carried out in the name of ABC Private Limited, but ABC Private Limited is nothing, just a name written on a piece of paper. We all four will get. He will also get money. He will also, the person who gave land, he will also get money. The person who gave building, he will also get money. The person who provided entrepreneurship will also get the money. So company pays money to all four. When the company pays money to entrepreneur, that same money is called profit. When the company pays money to the person who gave capital, that money is called interest. When the company pays for the land, it is also money only, it is called rent. And when the company pays money to the laborer, it is called wages. It is all money only which this company has sold and has got. So that company is nothing, just a name written on a piece of paper. Whatever income will be earned, it will be divided into four.
सर अगर जमीन खरीदी जाए तब कैपिटल कंसीडर करेगा, ये तो किराया का।
We'll come to that point, आप समझ जाओगे कि खरीद लिए या लीज पे लेके कर रहे हो, it doesn't make a difference as such. नहीं, चाहे आप खरीदो नहीं खरीदो, land will never be capital. Land will never be capital. कैसे लिए, that doesn't matter. See, whenever an output is being produced, a lot of inputs are required. We just broadly classify into four parts. We just broadly classify into four parts. Now this goods are divided into two categories, intermediate and final. Intermediate का कोई example? Steel is an intermediate good. Final goods are again categorized into consumption and consumption goods are of three categories: durable, non-durable, and services. Durable means life generally greater than 3 years. ड्यूरेबल में टीवी, नॉन ड्यूरेबल में बर्गर एंड सर्विसेज एजुकेशन. कैपिटल में वी कैन राइट ट्रैक्टर. होगा. एक डेप्रिसिएशन का एग्जाम्पल ले लेंगे, आप समझ जाओगे. डेप्रिसिएशन होगा, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन नहीं होगा. सी, all intermediate goods are ultimately converted into final goods. So we don't discuss this in detail because ultimately it has to be converted into final. Final goods are of two types: consumption and capital. Consumption and capital. Consumption का three category: durable, non-durable, and services. Durable, there is not very exact classification, but generally we say life greater than 3 years, durable, less than 3 years, non-durable, and capital. Suppose this company is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited. ध्यान से सुनना इधर. This company is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited. Who is the entrepreneur? Anand Mahindra. What is the capital? If this is Mahindra Tractors Private Limited, what is capital? Factory, building and machines are capital. Land and other raw materials यहाँ आ जाएगा, and laborers. So Mahindra Tractors Private Limited produces what? Tractors. देखो, the factory building here is called capital. It is again producing some capital. It is again producing some capital. Tractor, देखो आप इधर समझो आप. Suppose one day I started a company, Vivek Agri Farms Private Limited. Vivek Agri Farms. Vivek is the entrepreneur. There will be laborer working on the field. There will be land. लैंड, वाटर, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज. कैपिटल, सीड्स. ट्रैक्टर कैपिटल होगा, राइट? एंड देन विवेक एग्री फार्म्स विल प्रोड्यूस व्हीट which is a consumption non-durable. Now you try to understand tractor. It is an output of a man-made process, Mahindra Tractors Private Limited. First characteristic true. Tractor is again acting as an input in further production process. And while this is acting as an input, it is not getting lost or transformed. So tractor is a capital good. To produce consumption goods or to produce capital goods, in both the cases we require capital. We require capital. So if you want to produce either consumption goods or capital goods, you will require capital. Capital goods produces capital goods also. Capital goods produces consumption goods also. A factory produces burger machines. Factory means capital. So capital produces burger machines, capital, and burger machine produces burger. So capital produces consumption goods also. So capital produces consumption goods also, capital goods also. Let's come to this intermediate goods. थोड़ा समझ लो आप. I purchase tea leaves at my home for home purpose. I purchase tea leaves. That tea leaves is intermediate good or final good? देखो, बाहर चाय पीते हो आप लोग कि नहीं? Okay. So that person is also purchasing tea leaves, and I am also purchasing tea leaves for my home purpose. When I purchase tea leaves at my home, I convert into tea, and then I have it. When that person outside, he purchases tea leaves, he converts into tea and sells it. In his case, it is intermediate. In my case, it is final. The best way to judge is, how to judge whether it is intermediate or final? Last transaction in the market. Last transaction in the market. In his case, last transaction is the market, T. So T is final. Last transaction in the market is T, so T is final. Before that, everything is intermediate. In my case, last transacted product in the market, tea leaves. So tea leaves is final. Whether I am dipping in milk or water or powder बना के पी रहे हैं, doesn't matter. The last transacted product is tea leaves, so tea leaves will be final. But in his case, tea seller, tea is final, tea leaves is intermediate. समझ गए? सेकेंड हैंड गुड्स मतलब किस में क्लासिफाई करना चाहते हो? इट्स अ फाइनल गुड बेसिकली. सेकेंड हैंड गुड्स ऑल्सो फाइनल गुड्स ओनली. आपका कंफ्यूजन अभी क्लियर हो जाएगा. इट इज ऑल्सो फाइनल गुड ओनली. समझ गए? इंटरमीडिएट एंड फाइनल. भाई जज कर लो आप. अगर फाइनल होगा दैट मीन्स दैट इज द लास्ट ट्रांजैक्टेड प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट. क्लियर है? सो एक क्वेश्चन बताओ आप. दिस लाइट इंटरमीडिएट और फाइनल? हाउ समझे लाइट? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू थिंक दैट दिस लाइट इज फाइनल? देखो हमारे फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन से आंसर जज करने की कोशिश नहीं करो. ठीक है? आपको जो सही लगता है वो सही है. ठीक है? अप्लाई योर लॉजिक एंड टेल द आंसर. देख के लगता है कि आप जज करना चाह रहे हो. ठीक है? नहीं पता चलेगा. So apply your logic whatever you have read till now and tell me this light, not the rod, is this intermediate or final? How many of you think it is final? And how both नहीं होता है. ये ऑप्शन नहीं है एग्जाम का कि both नहीं है. I will come to that. both नहीं. पहले मुझे दे देना then आप पूछना. This light. So how many of you think it is intermediate? चलो ठीक. आई एम कमिंग टू यू. अभी आप खुद से आंसर दोगे इसका. मेरी हैंडराइटिंग तो समझ में आ रही है आप लोग को ना? दिस लाइट इज इंटरमीडिएट और फाइनल? इस लाइट के केस में SR प्राइवेट लिमिटेड इज यूजिंग दिस लाइट टू प्रोड्यूस एजुकेशनल सर्विस. लास्ट ट्रांजैक्टेड प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट एजुकेशनल सर्विस. सो लाइट यहाँ पे इंटरमीडिएट. At home, when I purchase light, when I purchase electricity, again I am, and see, at home, suppose I am teaching my child. So at home I purchase light and produce something, but there it is not being sold in the market. Market word is very important. I purchase light for my own consumption. Last transacted product in the market क्या है? Light. यहाँ पे last transacted product in the market educational service. So here light is intermediate. Here light is intermediate. Market word is very important. And the same thing is true for consumption and capital also. For example, washing machine, when we are purchasing for home purpose, consumption. When a laundry shop is purchasing washing machine, it is, देखो ध्यान से समझोगे तभी, ध्यान कॉन्सेंट्रेट करके सुनोगे, देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. पहले सुनो इधर. अ लॉन्ड्री शॉप परचेज्ड वॉशिंग मशीन. दैट वॉशिंग मशीन इज इंटरमीडिएट और फाइनल? Whenever someone asks whether a particular good is consumption good or capital good, first you should try to check whether it is final good or not. Consumption and capital is a segregation of final good. If it is an intermediate good, it can't be segregated as such. So if someone asks, first you check whether it is intermediate or final. If it is final, then you try to just whether it is consumption or capital. Now, what is the difference between intermediate and final? Intermediate goods always transform. Intermediate goods always transform. The laundry shop purchased washing machine. That washing machine is intermediate or final? एक सेकंड. That board chair here, intermediate or final? देखो अब आप लोग कंफ्यूज हो, ठीक है. अब मैं बता रहा हूं कि वेयर इज द कंफ्यूजन. Intermediate goods are also used as an input and capital goods are also used as an input. Intermediate goods are also used as an input, light is being used as an input, and capital goods are also used as an input. Capital goods remain as it is, intermediate goods transform. But both are used as an input. Both are used as an input. Now the laundry shop purchased surf excel and it purchased washing machine. ठीक. अब बताओ आपकी washing machine intermediate है या final है? Final. Washing machine intermediate है या final है? Final है. Of course final, because it is not getting transformed, it is remaining as it is. Final है. Is it consumption or capital? वहां पे कैपिटल है, आपके घर में कंजम्पशन. Because their washing machine is being used to produce something to be sold in the market. तो जो आप सेकेंड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक लिखे हो, क्या लिखे हो आपने? It again acts as an input in for further production process. ऐड कर लो, to be sold in the market. It again acts as an input in further production process to be sold in the market. सेकेंड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक जो आपने लिखा है ना, it again acts as an input for further production process to be sold in the market. ज्यादा मैं फास्ट तो नहीं जा रहा हूं ना, समझ रहे हो आप लोग? ओके. देखो आप समझो एक चीज, कार, यू परचेज कार एंड ओला कैब्स परचेज कार. ठीक है. फर्स्ट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक चेक करो कैपिटल गुड की, ट्रू है. दोनों केस में ट्रू है फर्स्ट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक. सेकेंड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक नहीं, ओला के केस में द cab is being purchased to produce something to be sold in the market. In our case, it is being purchased to produce something not to be sold in the market. So Ola cabs के केस में car is, Ola cabs के केस में car is capital, and in our case consumption. And car is intermediate or final? Final. Ola cabs is using car to produce transportation services to be sold in the market. Intermediate or final? और फिर से सुन लो ध्यान से, Ola cabs is purchasing car to produce transportation services to be sold in the market. Intermediate or final? Final. एक सेकेंड, Ola cabs is purchasing petrol, Ola cabs is purchasing car. Both are acting as an input to produce something. Intermediate goods are also purchased, capital goods are also purchased. Both can act as an input, but capital goods remain as it is, intermediate goods transform. Ola cabs purchasing car, तो कार जो वहां पे है intermediate है final है? Final है, of course final है. Final goods can also act as an input, and that is the example of capital goods. Capital goods always act as an input. एक सेकंड, हाँ, फिर से रिपीट योर डाउट. आप लोग एकदम थोड़ा शांत रहो भाई. हाँ, राइट, बीइंग यूज्ड ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड. हाँ, राइट. Car is remaining as it is. Why? Where it is getting transformed? This light, see, SR Private Limited is using chair as an input. SR Private Limited is using light as an input to produce what? Educational service. This chair acting as an input, it is remaining as it is. This light is getting transformed. Every moment new light is coming in. The previous light is gone. Otherwise bill नहीं पे करना पड़ता ना. आपके लिए फाइनल है, उनके लिए फाइनल है. हाँ, फाइनल है, फाइनल है. But there it is acting as an input. कोई डाउट है तो बताओ. किसी को डाउट नहीं है? ग्रेट. 2-3 और एग्जाम्पल दीजिए. सोचना अब आपका काम. अब आप यहां से जाओगे, 2-3 एग्जाम्पल अपने दिमाग से सोचना. कंफ्यूज हो गए फिर कल क्लास के थोड़ा पहले आके पूछ लेना. हाँ, हाँ, इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स का यही डेफिनेशन है. इट कैनॉट बी यूज्ड डायरेक्टली, इट मस्ट बी ट्रांसफॉर्म. इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स विल ऑलवेज ट्रांसफॉर्म, बट इंटरमीडिएट गुड्स आल्सो एक्ट एज एन इनपुट. रॉ मटेरियल्स आल्सो एक्ट एज एन इनपुट. कैपिटल गुड्स कैन आल्सो एक्ट एज एन इनपुट. इनपुट की तरह वर्क कर रहा, दैट डजंट मीन कि इट विल ट्रांसफॉर्म. इट विल रिमेन एज इट इज. दिस बिल्डिंग इज एक्टिंग एज एन इनपुट बट रिमेनिंग एज इट इज. कैपिटल गुड. ठीक है. तो इंटरमीडिएट फाइनल समझ गए आप, कंजम्पशन एंड कैपिटल समझ गए. इससे रिलेटेड 2016, 15 और 16 में एक क्वेश्चन है कंजम्पशन कैपिटल. आप चेक कर लेना, हो जाना चाहिए. वाई कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स ओनली. देखो, SR Private Limited is selling educational service, and Maruti is selling cars. कार्स परचेज करने के लिए आप उनके शोरूम में जाते हो. एजुकेशन परचेज करने के लिए आप यहाँ के शोरूम में आ रहे हो. SR Private Limited, भाई उन्होंने भी सेल करने के लिए शॉप खोली है, हमने भी सेल करने के लिए शॉप खोली है. right,
raw material input देते हैं उसको,
right,
जाके final good बनता है,
right.
सर coating institute के लिए, cement is considered raw material.
अरे नहीं, तुमने पानी पीने पे मजबूर कर दिया मुझे यार। इतने लोग हंसने लगे, अब अपने आप समझ जाओगे आप भाई। देखो देखो, आप शोरूम गए, 10-15 मिनट प्रोडक्ट देखे एंड यू परचेज्ड। यहां भी यू आर कमिंग टू परचेज दिस सर्विस, यू आर कमिंग हियर टू परचेज द सर्विस। ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स के लिए, हाँ हाँ, ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स के लिए जो लोग ट्रेनिंग ले रहे हैं दे आर कंज्यूमर। ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स NIIT, ठीक है, दे आर सेलिंग वेरियस सॉफ्टवेयर कोर्सेज एंड यू पे द प्राइस फॉर दैट एंड यू परचेज इट। हाँ अच्छा, तो ऐसे बोलो ना आप कि जो ऑफिस में, हाँ हाँ, सो SR Private Limited is purchasing some content. One company is selling content. SR Private Limited is purchasing content. I am reading that content and then I am delivering some lecture. So SR Private Limited, when it is purchasing content, तो input है SR Private Limited के लिए. The other company who is selling the content, उसके लिए that is output. किसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट पूछोगे उससे क्लियर हो जाएगा। जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन अ सॉफ्टवेयर फर्म, चाय पीते पीते नहीं पढ़ा जा सकता है ऐसा। इन आवर फर्म some guy came to teach some certain software things. That means my company Alcatel Private Limited, they are purchasing training programs. They are purchasing training programs provided by NIIT. So NIIT is selling the program, Alcatel is purchasing the program, using it, and then it is producing software something. For example, steel, Jindal Steel के लिए it is an output, Maruti के लिए it is an input. देखो इस सब्जेक्ट को समझने के लिए जब आप क्लास के बाहर जाते हो ना, तो रादर देन वो प्लग लगाने से बेटर है कि आप सोचो, यू ट्राई टू रिलेट द एग्जांपल्स, क्योंकि आप नहीं सोचोगे ना, आई कैन नॉट एक्सप्लेन, ठीक है। सो यू विल आल्सो हैव टू थिंक ओवर इट, यू विल आल्सो हैव टू थिंक ओवर इट। जब तक आप एग्जांपल्स इकोनॉमी से लेके यू विल नॉट थिंक ना, तो केवल पढ़ाने से नहीं समझ में आएगा। यू विल हैव टू थिंक एग्जांपल, यू विल गेट कंफ्यूज, देन यू विल क्लैरिफाई योर डाउट्स। दिस इज द बेस्ट वे टू अंडरस्टैंड इट, ठीक है। तो आप जाओ क्लास के बाद, यू थिंक ओवर इट, डाउट है पूछो, क्लास के पर ज़्यादा डाउट है क्लास के पहले आ जाओ, थोड़ा बहुत है तो आप क्लास में भी पूछ सकते हो, ठीक। नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड एन एग्जाम्पल डायग्राम विच इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट डायग्राम ऑफ इकोनॉमी एंड वन ऑफ द मोस्ट कॉम्प्लेक्स डायग्राम्स, ठीक है। तो थोड़ा पेशेंटली समझते हैं, बट बिफोर दैट यू शुड नो दैट हाउ मेनी सेक्टर्स आर देयर, 4 सेक्टर्स में। So 4 sectors, and we always talk about final goods because ultimately intermediate will have to be converted into final. So final, we now onwards will be talking about final goods. And how many types of goods we produce? 2, consumption and capital. So our country, in fact every country produces final goods, 2 types of goods, consumption and capital. Consumption and capital. So whatever output is being produced by your country, consumption goods and capital goods, who purchases this output? 4 sectors. 2 types of goods are produced, consumption and capital, and purchased by 4 sectors. ठीक है. So two types of goods, consumption and capital, purchased by four sectors of it. Government also purchases these goods, private sector also purchases, household sector also purchases, and external sector also purchases. ठीक. Private sector, and I am talking about final goods. Private sector purchases consumption goods or capital goods or both. फिर से सुन लो. We produce, now we are talking about final goods, we produce either consumption goods or capital goods. Two types of goods produce होते हैं, purchased by four sectors. Now you have to tell that all these four sectors purchase what kinds of goods. So first come to private sector. Private sector purchases consumption or capital or both? Both. Tell me an example where private sector is purchasing consumption goods.
Consumption goods, CCD, coffee beans.
एक सेकंड. He is saying कि CCD private sector purchasing coffee beans. Coffee beans is a final good? No. No. I said that I am talking about final goods only. I am talking about only final goods because ultimately intermediate will be converted into final. So when intermediate will be converted into final, then we will be discussing. We are talking about final goods. Final goods are of two categories, consumption and capital. Now you have to tell that private sector purchases consumption goods or capital goods or both. Both. Give an example where private sector is purchasing consumption goods.
Coffee, some tea for the employees.
That is an exception. Any other example? देखो employees के लिए they are just giving certain benefits. It is not used in the production process.
कोई chemicals खरीद के कुछ product बना लो.
That chemical is intermediate, is not final. I am talking about final goods. What my question is, give an example where a private company is purchasing consumption good. Thermal power plant is purchasing coal. Is it final good? I am talking about final goods. My question is कि private sector companies, do they purchase consumption goods or do they purchase capital goods or both? Those who are saying कि consumption goods, give an example where a company is purchasing consumption goods. देखो आप समझो एक चीज. क्या बोल आप फिर से आप बताओ एग्जांपल. हाँ हाँ. When a company, जैसे when a company is purchasing rod, when a company is purchasing rod, that rod is capital good. That rod is capital or consumption? Capital good. A company never purchases consumption goods. If you know an example, give it right now. No, ऐसे नहीं count होता.
Company purchases something or they provide recreational aspect for the employees.
Employees का कंसेप्ट देखो what is happening. जैसे he said कि a company purchasing biscuits for the employees. Now the employee purchased the biscuit, company just reimbursed it. Try to understand this example. Loud. हाँ right. Only capital goods. See आप जो confuse हो रहे हो, you are confusing with intermediate goods. A company purchases intermediate goods, a company purchases capital goods, it never purchases consumption goods. And we are talking about final goods. So intermediate goods will not come into picture. Now in final goods, private sector always purchase capital goods. Household sector? देखो अगर आपको लगता है both तो बताओ please. How many of you think कि household sector purchases both? कोई नहीं सोचता इट। हाँ आप बोथ एग्जाम्पल, हाउसहोल्ड आई परचेज कार, कंजम्पशन और कैपिटल, कंजम्पशन। अच्छा चलो आई परचेज, इधर देखो, आई परचेज वॉशिंग मशीन and started selling wash cloths in the Rajendranagar market. Is it consumption or capital? Capital. But then, suno, ideally I should register a business. I am doing a business. Ideally I should register a business and that washing machine should be in the name of that business entity rather than me. So household sector never purchases capital goods, it always purchases consumption goods. Government purchases both. And external sector again purchases both. Right. Right. See, it is purchasing, ठीक है, it is purchasing and forwarding it to consumers. They are not producing. I am asking about this. They are not producing as such. Rice. हाँ. A farmer producing rice. I am asking about purchase. I am asking about purchase. I said household sector will always purchase consumption goods. Do you have a counter argument for this? समझ गए?
Washing machine or furniture, table chair for yourself.
एक सेकंड से आप क्या बोल रहे हो?
What if you wouldn't have started a business?
हाँ.
And you have purchased washing machine, table chair, dining table, sofa for yourself.
भाई देखो ये चेयर जो है, this chair belongs to Subra Ranjan or this chair belongs to Subra Ranjan Private Limited? हाँ तो if I am purchasing chair for my home, that is consumption good. If I am purchasing chair for my home, it is consumption good. If I am purchasing car for my own purpose, it is consumption good. If Ola Cab is purchasing car, it is capital good. Mm-hmm. A shopkeeper selling हाँ. देखो भाई, see, try to understand one thing. There are business units categorized such that when a retail unit is purchasing something to sell you, they are just facilitating this transaction. Ultimately, whatever goods they are selling, it is being purchased by the consumer, consumption, household sector. It is being purchased by the household sector. So, इन्हीं जैसे बिग बाजार है, I said कि private business either purchase consumption goods. I said कि private sector always purchases capital goods or intermediate goods they purchase. Now, big bazaar is just facilitating that transaction. They are selling it to you ultimately. देखो, facilitating a transaction and purchasing. Big bazaar purchased and it gave it to you. Did it do anything with that product? No. So ultimately, who is purchasing that? Household sector is purchasing that. So in that sense, household sector purchases consumption goods. Private sector, who are business units, they purchase either capital goods or intermediate goods. Ultimately, हाँ. गवर्नमेंट का एग्जाम्पल बोथ आप बताओ. देखो, I said government sector, right? So government sector capital goods purchase करती है, that is true or not? A government purchasing tanks, military tanks, it is capital good. Government purchasing tanks, it is capital good. Government purchasing uniforms for its military, consumption good. Government purchasing uniforms, it is consumption good. Government purchasing bullets, it is consumption good.
प्राइवेट एंटिटी भी यूनिफॉर्म देती है.
हाँ तो प्राइवेट एंटिटी, हाँ हाँ. See, when we say government sector, all the government units, departments, companies, सब कुछ आ जाता है. Government purchased it for its own purpose. Private sector purchased it and gave it to the ultimate consumers. Even military tanks are not consumption. हाँ, लास्ट डाउट चलो, इसके बाद आप बाद में पूछना मुझे. आई हैव टू कवर दिस एग्जांपल. हाँ नहीं, सी देयर इज अ, देखो, दिस कैपिटल इज डिफाइंड बाय इकोनॉमिस्ट की व्हाट इज कंसिडर्ड अंडर कैपिटल. अगर आप आज की डेट में इनफॉर्मल डेफिनेशन जानोगे, everything which has some value is called capital. But for your understanding point of view, you always consider only the physical capital as capital. Economists always consider the durable physical goods which has these three characteristics as capital. In which sense the money is considered now as a capital, that we will understand maybe today or tomorrow. ठीक है, तो कल आप जो कैपिटल से कंफ्यूजन है, that you will also understand when we say that this company is bringing this much of capital, you invested this much, in which context that is used, you will be totally able to understand tomorrow. But as such, for the time being, you must just consider only the physical capital good, durable good, physical good as capital. Money, आज के डेट में money also we call it capital. In which sense we call it? Maybe कल समझ जाओगे. हाँ, वो बेसिकली गवर्नमेंट तो अल्टीमेटली कंज्यूमर्स को ले दे रहा है, उसका एग्जांपल आप नहीं ले सकते. इधर देखो, बस एक एग्जांपल आप ये समझ लो. हाउसहोल्ड, नाउ वी आर टेकिंग अप टू सेक्टर्स, हाउसहोल्ड्स एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर. और ऐसे बना दो आप, फर्म्स एंड हाउसहोल्ड्स. अच्छा, इन दैट एग्जांपल we categorize all the inputs into 4 categories. We categorize all the inputs into 4 categories. Now entrepreneur belong to household sector and laborer belong to household sector. So 2 inputs were coming from the household sector, and the other 2 inputs, capital and natural resources, they were also indirectly being provided by the household sector. जैसे building, SR Private Limited is getting this building, कोई और own कर रहा होगा. So 2 inputs, entrepreneur and labor, was directly coming from the household sector, वो तो directly out. And the other 2 inputs are indirectly being provided by the household sector. You can say that, because the return ultimately it reaches to the person. So directly or indirectly, all the 4 inputs was coming from the household sector. So the return means rent, wages, interest and profit will also reach ultimately to the household sector. Now this is firms and this is household sector. We are taking just 2 sectors, we are ignoring the other 2 sectors. Okay? External and government, forget that, there is no government and no external sector. Even if we include that, it will remain true, but just to make these things simple, we are using these 2 sectors. Okay? Now suppose this firm produced burger. This firm produced burger. Now if this firm is producing this burger, it will be using the 4 inputs. Achha, those 4 inputs of production are also called 4 factors of production. 4 inputs of production or 4 factors of production. So this firm produced a burger, concentrate करके इधर देखो आप. This firm produced a burger, price rupees 100. So this firm used the 4 category of inputs. And all the inputs are directly or indirectly coming from which sector? Household. So household sector provided the labor. Labor कहाँ है? यहाँ है. Owner, where is the owner? Here. The person who is giving machines, he is also here. So they are providing the inputs, and the company produce the burger. Now this company will have to return. What it will return? Profit, interest, rent, wages. How much it will return? More than 100, less than 100? Good. Suppose rent कितना? Example 20. Wages, interest कितना हो गया ये? 75. Price 100. Profit, how much they will get? देखो भाई, सुनो इधर देखो. One day we all collaborated together. Someone gave entrepreneurship, someone gave machines, someone gave land, and someone gave labor. We all combined together and produced a burger worth rupees 1000. In whose name? ABC Private Limited. That 1000 rupees, who has contributed? We all have contributed. Who will get 1000? We all will get 1000. 4 factors are contributing together. They are all are here. They contributed together. In whose name? F firm. If the burger is sold in 100 rupees, who will get 100? All 4. So they will get 100 rupees. Who gave the machines? The person here gave the machines. But it's like I acted as entrepreneur, you gave the burger machine, he provided some raw materials, and someone gave land. If it is being sold in 100 rupees, who will get 100 rupees? We 4. So they will always get 100 rupees. If this burger is being sold in 100 rupees, who has contributed in this production? 4 factors of production. Owner of this company is where? Here. Now this 100 rupees they again spent to this company, and this company sells the burger to them. So whatever they worked, they got as a profit, interest, rent, wages, they spent, and then they purchased the same goods. This is called circular flow of income. This is called circular flow of income. अभी रुक जाओ, लिखो नहीं आप, सुनो इधर. If this is India, we all collaborated and produced something. We all collaborated and produced something that will be sold in the market. Whatever money will be generated, who will get? We all will get. And then with that money, we again purchase the same burger that we all produced. Now you assume India, all over India. What is happening? All are working. Someone is acting as an owner, someone is acting as a laborer. We all are working and producing goods in 1 year. How many rupees of goods we are producing? 168 lakh crore. In 1 year, we all worked and produced goods worth rupees 168 lakh crore. This 168 lakh crore we got as rent, profit, interest, wages. And this 168 lakh crore then again we spend on what goods? That we ourselves has produced. I am producing services, you are purchasing services. So if you consider all over India, whatever we all are producing, ultimately who is purchasing? We are. यही होता है. So this is your circular flow of income. This is your economic cycle. As say 300 years back, we all were doing less work. We all were doing less work, producing less. We were getting less. We were spending less. We were consuming less, and we used to be called as poor. What is the difference between rich and poor person? Level of consumption. Level of consumption. The same difference is at the country level also. Now we work more, so we produce more goods, we get more, we spend more, we consume more. Every country is just trying to increase the value in the cycle. Every country is trying to become rich. So when every country is trying to become rich, rich means they want more standard of living, better standard of living. The difference between rich and poor is the level of consumption. And level of consumption के लिए you should earn more. To earn more, you should produce more. So every country is trying to produce more because they know that if they will produce more, they will earn more, they will spend more, and they will be called rich. Every country is trying to become rich. And the best way to become a rich is to produce more. Then you will get more and then you will earn more. So my grandfather, he was working less, he was earning less, he was spending less, and he was consuming less. Now I work more, I produce more, I get more, I spend more, I consume more, but I think he was more happy than me. But in economy class, we'll be trying to consume more. ठीक है, बाकी आप social issues में पढ़ते रहना, happiness. So every country is trying to increase the output because that is the way through which we can become rich. So here in the example we took that there is no government and no private sector. No government and no private sector. Sorry, no government and no external sector. हाँ नहीं क्या करो देखो कि क्या है. So even if we will bring them maybe after 10-15 classes क्योंकि वो थोड़ा और complex हो जाता है, but you can understand through this. So अभी इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि whatever we are producing, we are getting as income, we are spending and we are consuming. Now if we want to increase the production, if in this cycle if we want to increase the production, क्या करना पड़ेगा? If we want to produce more burgers, then we require more machines here. Infrastructure, capital goods, because to produce anything you require either to produce consumption or capital good, you require capital. Now how that capital will come, how that capital goods will come? Produce more machines. इधर देखो आप ध्यान से concentrate करके देखना, ठीक है, क्योंकि थोड़ा complex है ये. अभी तक समझ गए? हाँ? Clear है? ये diagram कल भी एक बार थोड़ा सा repeat कर देंगे, but अभी आप कोशिश करो कि you understand it here. Second example, they worked and they produced goods. They produced goods worth rupees 100. How much they will get? 100 rupees. But then they decided that we will not spend all the amount, we will save 30 rupees. So 70 rupees they thought that they will spend and 30 rupees they will save. How many rupees of goods they have produced? 100, right? If they have produced, then only they will get 100. So they produced goods worth rupees 100, they got 100, but then they decided that they will spend 70 rupees, they will save 30 rupees. So 70 rupees they spent and the company sold goods, 70 rupees goods to them. How many rupees of goods here left? 30. How many rupees of savings they have done? 30. Here देखो ध्यान से. This 30 rupees they will keep in a bank. ठीक. So households consumed how many rupees of goods? 70 rupees. 30 rupees of goods is still left. Which other sector is present in the economy? Private sector. The private sector, there are other companies also, na? The private sector takes 30 rupees loan from the bank and they purchase these goods. They purchase this goods. Private sector purchase these goods. This good is consumption or capital? Capital. This good is capital. Next year the production will be 100 or more than 100. देखो आप समझो एक चीज. This is India. This is India. We all collaborated and produced goods worth rupees 100. We got 100, but we spent only 70 rupees. So 30 rupees of goods is still left, and we have how many rupees? 30. We kept in bank. We kept in bank. The other companies present in the economy, they borrow this money and they purchase that 30 rupees of goods left. Now that 30 rupees of goods, who is purchasing? Other companies. That will be a capital good. That will be a capital. Next year output will be 100 or more than 100. इसके बाद किसी की क्लास है? अच्छा, तो बस 5 मिनट आप वेट कर लो. जनरली मैं एक्सटेंड नहीं करता हूं, बट ये थोड़ा सा टॉपिक. दिस फैक्ट्री इज प्रोड्यूसिंग 100 रुपीज ऑफ बर्गर इन अ पर्टिकुलर ईयर. इसकी कैपेसिटी कितना है टू प्रोड्यूस 100 रुपीज ऑफ बर्गर. नेक्स्ट ईयर अगेन इट विल प्रोड्यूस 100 रुपीज बर्गर. इट विल गो ऑन प्रोड्यूसिंग 100 रुपीज बर्गर, राइट? इफ दिस फैक्ट्री इज प्रोड्यूसिंग 70 rupees burger and 30 rupees machine. A factory can produce capital good also. A factory can produce consumption goods also. Previous case mein when the factory was producing 100 rupees burger, every year it will produce 100 rupees burger. In this case it produced 70 rupees burger, 30 rupees machine. Next year this will get consumed, this will remain in the economy. This thing increases the production next year. If we all are producing just consumption goods, we will consume, sleep, and the next year again we will produce the same goods. But if we produce capital goods, that capital good increases the production next year. इसको हम लोग डिटेल में अभी कल समझेंगे, अभी आप ये फुल्ली नहीं समझे हो. What I am trying to say is, if they will produce goods, they will get income. If they will spend everything, no capital goods will be produced. But if they produced goods, they got as an income. If they save the same amount, whatever they will save, that means whatever they will not spend, utna hi capital goods yahan banega. Are you getting it? Utna hi capital goods banega. Because this firm knows that the demand for household sector is only rupees 70. So 70 rupees it will produce consumption goods, burger or pizza, and 30 rupees it will produce for other sectors in the economy. The other sectors present is private sector, and private sector purchases capital goods. ठीक है. If these people don't keep this money in bank, they save, not in bank but in pocket, what will happen? Then will this be produced? Yes. Yes, it will be produced because they have produced 100 rupees of goods. They have got 100 rupees. पहले ये produce किए ना. They got 100 rupees. Consumed 70 rupees, 30 rupees उन्होंने pocket में रखा. In this case, the private sector in India can't borrow from the domestic banks. They will have to borrow from abroad and purchase this capital good. We will have to do external sector borrowing. Government don't want, उसके risks हैं. That is why Mr. Modi is saying कि you keep in bank. Because if you will not keep in bank, these savings are not utilized. If you will keep in bank, the companies can borrow. और यही होता है. Everyone has some money in bank. That banks have lent to the private sector. Here, so total goods produced is 100 rupees, right? 70 consumption goods and 30 capital goods. Next year production will be more than 100. How many of you understand this thing? Next year production will be more than 100. How many of you understand this thing? बाकी लोग को नहीं समझ में आ रहा? चलो, this will be discussing in detail कि how this production increases, how this production. See, it's quite simple. अभी रुक जाओ, 2 मिनट रुक जाओ अभी आप लोग. इधर देखो आप, फिर से देखो. There is a factory. Factory means capital good. If this factory has the capacity to produce 100 rupees of goods, 100 rupees का बर्गर प्रोड्यूस की, इसकी कैपेसिटी कितना? 100 rupees का बर्गर प्रोड्यूस. Capacity means every year it will produce burger. You will consume it. Again next year it will produce burger. Suppose rather than producing burger, it produce 100 rupees of goods, 70 का burger and 30 का machine. This gets consumed in a particular year. This will get consumed, और ये it will remain in the economy. Now it will remain in the economy. This again increases the base of capital goods. It is so next year you have how many factories? This and this. Because of this, production increases. I said कि 100 rupees of goods produced in 1 year. Do you know कि exactly how much India produced last year? कितना goods produce किया इंडिया ने? Last year means 2017-18. How many rupees of goods India produced? 168 lakh. डॉलर में याद किए होगे 2.6 ट्रिलियन डॉलर इकोनॉमी. याद है ना? नहीं, यही है ये. रुपीज 168 लाख ऑफ गुड्स प्रोड्यूस्ड. फाइनल गुड्स ये प्रोड्यूस हुआ. फाइनल गुड्स बेसिकली ऑफ 2 टाइप्स. कौन कौन सा? कंजम्पशन और कैपिटल. सो वी इंडिया प्रोड्यूस दिस मच ऑफ गुड्स. हाउ मच कंजम्पशन, हाउ मच कैपिटल? That part of the output which consists of capital goods is called investment in the economy. That investment, never ever think about how much money you spent, shares, not at all. Investment is always measured in terms of output. Every year we are producing output, final goods. That can be either consumption or capital. Whatever is the capital goods, that is called investment. India का investment 28%. Now, one economy producing 30% capital goods, another economy producing 40% capital goods. Next year, which will be able to produce more? 40%. China has consistently produced 45% capital goods for the last 30 years. India has never touched that, not for a single year. China has consistently produced 45% capital goods for 3 decades. India ka maximum 38%, 2007-8. And now we have come from 38% capital good, it was at peak in 2007-8, now we are producing 28% capital goods. ठीक है? So our India has reached maximum investment of 38% in 2007-8. Now it has come down. Why it has come down? Why it has come down? हाँ? NPA से कैसे कम हो गया? एक से बस 2 मिनट और.
जो लोन लिया है जब वापस नहीं दे पाएंगे तो पैसा दोबारा.
देखो, see, is right. इधर देखो आप. Who purchases capital goods? Private sector. Private sector borrows money and purchases capital goods. Their previous loans they have not been able to repay, so banks are not giving them loan. When banks are not giving them loan, they are not able to purchase capital goods. They are not able to purchase capital goods. So that is why out of the total output that we are producing, investment has declined. The production of capital goods has declined. Because of the NPA. NPA हम लोग बाद में डिटेल में समझेंगे. सो लास्ट अभी तो थोड़ा द ग्रोथ हैज स्टार्टेड पिकिंग अप और जीडीपी लास्ट 2007-8 के बाद डिक्लाइन हो गया, थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया है। 2007-8 के बाद और जीडीपी डिक्लाइन, ठीक है, मींस आउटपुट जो हम लोग प्रोड्यूस करते हैं ग्रोथ कम हो गया। क्यों ग्रोथ कम हो गया था?
क्योंकि बैंक से लोन नहीं।
Whatever output we produce, the production of output जो growth था that declined. Why it declined? Anyone? Demand? Demand नहीं था. The output that you produce, the GDP means output. The output that you produce, who demands that output? The four sectors. The two types of goods that are produced, consumption and capital, it is demanded by four sectors. It is purchased by four sectors of the economy. If the demand of any of these four sectors decreases, the companies reduce the output. So post 2008, our output declined, growth declined, because the demand of one of the sectors declined. Which sector demand declined? There are four sectors: government, private, external, household. These four sectors purchase the two types of output. I am saying that ki post 2008, we reduced the production because the demand declined. Demand of one of the sector declined. Which sector demand declined? External sector. Global financial crisis, those people started purchasing less goods from India, and the demand of the external sector is called exports or exports decline. Whatever is purchased by external sector from India is called exports or exports decline. So post 2008, our output declined because of two things: the demand of the external sector and the demand of the Indian private sector. The demand of the external sector declined because of the financial crisis. The demand of the Indian private sector declined because of the NPAs. So our GDP growth declined. यहाँ से हम लोग कल पढ़ेंगे, जो आप पढ़े हो वो थोड़ा रिवाइज करके हम, ठीक है। एंड अगर इकोनॉमी समझना है, यू विल हैव टू बी रेगुलर एटलीस्ट फॉर द फर्स्ट 15 लेक्चर्स, ठीक है। जो लोग क्लास मिस करेंगे उनके लिए डिफिकल्ट होगा, ऑनलाइन से इकोनॉमी समझ में आना बहुत मुश्किल है। सो ट्राई कि यू कम टू द क्लास एज सच।